Hello and welcome. This is Alchemist X, and this is going to be the banner overview for the very first week of December 2023. With that, we have the Link version of Seida next up in the Holy Guard characters. So it's a reasonable assumption that any Holy Guard characters from Sacred Stone Memories that haven't gotten Link versions yet are going to get them in the future. It's hard to say exactly what each one is going to be. So far they have seemed to follow a pattern of like different element, same element, different element, same element, in terms of like Canon, Zane, Otama, etc. And so Seida falls under the different element part of that pattern, being a high thunder unit. Honestly, being both a missile and a pierce unit is pretty cool. And then both of those, I mean, Long Hao is an excellent thunder pierce unit. She's definitely, probably in my opinion, the best thunder pierce unit. As far as missile goes, Magnus is very solid, but that's a combination that, at least me as a ex-global player, I feel the lack of Roxanne and sometimes Lilith, especially, just with that combination of element and damage type. And I think that Seida Link version could potentially fulfill that role. It does come with the baggage of being a brand new 20-step Link unit, and then you have the Memento on top of it. Speaking of the Memento, as you might expect from a ranged unit, the max limit break is range +1. And then, other than that, it's mostly going to be damage. It's going to give her just all damage up and crit rate. She can crit on her skills, so you definitely want to have crit rate on her. So overall, aside from the range +1, most of that stuff is going to be a giant stat stick or help facilitating her desire to have her HP at a high level. She is a little bit extra resilient when her HP is full, and then as an added bonus, when her HP is under 80%, you can get some more bonuses too. So I consider her Memento very high priority, but if you really want to get her and you don't have enough gems to also get the Memento, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. I would make it a long-term goal like always, but I wouldn't say that she's not going to be usable without her Memento. But just disclaimer, I haven't had a lot of time because this is a little bit faster turnaround than I normally do in terms of that thing, but just going off her on paper. And I think her kit is pretty straightforward overall. She does damage, she does a little bit of disruption. Of course, she has res down on her follow-up attack, which is excellent. But generally speaking, it's either going to be missile or it's going to be pierce, depending on which passive you have equipped on her. And then she just goes to town. I imagine she's going to be a pretty solid unit for auto. But yeah, that is about all I've got to say about Seida Link version for now. So let's go ahead and jump into the banners. And here we are at the banners. So just a quick summary for the week. If you are interested in Seida, there is Seida stuff, unit and Memento. There's a pickup banner for the older Sacred Stones Link version units, and then an accompanying Memento banner with that. And then there is an absolute banger of a 7-step banner for a different type of coin, and I'll talk about that at the end of the banner overview. And then just spoiler alert, I'm also going to do that banner at the very end of this video. But let's start with Seida. So textbook 20-step Link version type banner, guaranteed on step 20. Luckily TAGA pays in session, so it's not too bad, but just keep in mind you can do a lot of pulls and never get the full rebate. When Ophinius came out, between the unit banner and the Memento banner, I did pretty close to 40 overall, and the coin banner too. And I think I only got one full rebate out of almost, I think it was out of 39. So just keep that in mind. It's a nice bonus when it happens, but I would just do a times 0.8 when you're calculating the cost. So assuming the worst luck possible, it's going to cost you 40k gems to get Seida, and then another 18k to get the Memento. That's just with TAGA pay. Of course, it'll cost a little bit less than that when you factor in the gem rebates for gems spent, but that's only a small amount. So yeah, you're looking at almost 60k gems if you want to get both, and realistically a little bit under that, but expensive. But when it's units that you absolutely like, it's definitely worthwhile, as I experienced with Ophinius. So if Seida's the unit you've been waiting for, there is a long, expensive, but straightforward path to getting them. So for the Memento banner, it also has the normal pool Seida and the limited Seida Memento. If you don't have the limited Seida one, then it's a little bit nice if you potentially were to get it along the way, but otherwise pretty standard limited unit banner in that regard. Then we get to the pickup banner for the older Sacred Stones Link versions. Not too much to say here. It's pretty textbook coin banner. The only thing that I would look out for is the coins here are called pickup coins, and they have one spot in the shop. And then there are also winter big bonus coins. They look very similar, so I just keep that in mind. There might be a case where you could try to get both. Like, for example, it's something that I might do myself where I would like to get more shards of Seida Link version since I just got him. So I could get them from the pickup shop, and I can also get them from the winter big bonus shop, and the costs will, they'll add up separately. So basically, if you want to take advantage of that coin shop, then this is a good opportunity to do that. But overall, I think that the other coin banner is better. So there's a 9-step for mementos for the previously mentioned older Sacred Stones units. So yeah, if you are looking to grab one of the mementos, you're working on them, maybe you're almost done with one of them, or you're done with one of them and you just don't have the memento, then might be a good opportunity to grab it. It just depends on where you are. They are definitely a little bit older, so I don't usually recommend going for a 9-step unless there's some really, really good perks along the way. But that is a decision you'd have to make. And then finally, we get to the amazing banner. At least it's amazing for me where I am, just because Dios Link version, as I mentioned in a community post, is finally available in a coin shop. So these coins can get you shards of him. So I'm 75 shards away exactly. So I'm just going to do this banner, put those coins towards getting 75 shards of him. He'll be at max limit break and have the full Link bonus, and that'll be great. And any leftovers will probably go to either Seida Link version and Nidhogg. And then just along the way, these units are featured. You'll get 100 shards of them. Riza especially is an absolute banger of a unit. Mercea is really great too, especially for sustain. Karnit is an awesome raid unit for fire missile. Laurium I don't have her use, but she does crit a lot and have crit heals, so that's always a good thing. And of course, Lil is a very versatile unit. And then Saria is a non-type damage specialist. So overall, pretty solid pool of units to have featured, and then you'll get a 270 Enlightenment Shard ticket for them. So if you're working on Riza, maybe you don't have her Gate 5 yet, you want to get her as strong as possible, very, very good, even without thinking about the coins. And then you're also guaranteed 5 stars on steps too, so on each step as well. Okay, just not to confuse it with step 2. So yeah, the absolute banger of a banner. Of course, its value is going to depend on which units you're raising, but if you're like me and you're just really close with Dios, this is like the first time that there's been a good opportunity to get shards of him. So yeah, that's all I've got for the banner overview. So next, let's jump into doing this 7-step banner and see what happens. All right, so I'm going to do this at 2 times speed just to ease the process a little bit. I think this video is about as long as it needs to be without it dragging on like another 7 minutes is the 1-time speed for this. So Azami right off the bat, so that's a pretty excellent just additional prize to the main reason that I wanted to do this. Almost certainly the next dark unit that I raise will be Azami, so that's kind of cool. Got a little bit of a shake up in terms of my plans going forward, because as far as dark goes, I was kind of caught between Soul and Ikasa. Ikasa does have a really specific niche, but I've never really been in a spot where I thought, man, I would be a lot better off if I had Ikasa. I know there was that one floor in one of the towers, but I ended up beating that without her just fine. A couple instances where there's an enemy that would do just stupid amounts of damage to you from up close. And I thought, if I had Ikasa, I might be able to mitigate that. But overall, Soul is one of my favorite characters, so the only reason I haven't started on Soul yet is just I'm lacking in mementos. I have the red pants one. I don't have his original or the horse memento, as I call it. So that's the reason I haven't yet. But I think I need Azami a little bit more, just being a debuffer. I got a lot of damage in dark. I could definitely use some more support. And then it was kind of a blink and you'll miss it moment. But I also got Mira. I don't know if I'm going to race her right away. I do have both of her mementos, and I just like her. So there is that, but I'll probably do Lisa Knot before I do Mira. And then another later on goal is right here, Vlad, is that I finally have all three of the Rathalos trio, and I just like to use them together because I think that would be fun. Nothing really pragmatic about it, but of course, if you remember my last video, I did recently just get Nidhogg, so that guy is clearly number one in terms of Thunder Shard priority. But it's still nice to have. So we got 100 shards of Mitza. That's a unit I'm not sure if I'll ever raise her. I really like her design, but I haven't heard anything that amazing about her kit, and I've already got a little bit of a lineup in Fire, so that's probably not going to happen. But overall, especially given that how low stakes this banner was, just getting shards, Tomba I don't have maxed out, so that's great. It's nothing like to get crazy excited over, but just the end bonus, just being able to get my Dios done with, freed up, that's great. And then I also can start Link for Ultima version 2. Of course, I'm going to have to do regular Ultima's class change level before I can finish that, but that's a whole other can of worms, which is basically means it's going to be me looking up a guide on YouTube for that one, because I don't think it was Kudenstein or Kaya bad, but I think it did have a couple of really specific things that you needed to do. So, but that's otherwise the only obstacle. I got all of his gates maxed, and everything else aside from the job mastering is ready to link. So I'm pretty excited. So this was a pretty amazing banner just in what it's enabling to do with one unit I've been using nonstop since I got, and then another just brand new up and comer that I'm working on. So I'm pretty happy overall. So yeah, that's all I got for this week. So if you're summoning, I wish you good luck, and I will see you all next time.